Yo, 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 it's your boy Timmy Lee Glean, and I'm coming at you with another one of these videos. Sitting on my porch, the sunset is happening, so I hope it don't mess up the contrast of the video, but regardless, I want to stay in this section that I started out the series with again, revamped the series with, just on my 1 year of retention. And I don't want to get into like deep details. This is not my testimony yet, but this is just somewhere where I moved to speak about. I really want to speak about the perspective, and you know, many of us have a different perspective on this practice, because if you don't have the concept of the Most High God and the purity of the Most High God, you're not going to understand in its entirety what this whole entire practice is about. And you're going to see benefits, of course, because I believe that there are certain things that God blesses you with. You know, clarity, insight, strength, you know, more life, motivation, encouragement. These things naturally happen inside of us because of this practice. Also outward things, because, you know, when you're retaining and you're not spending time with women or just thinking about the things of women, you're going to focus on more wholesome things. Say, for instance, you got a business you're starting up, or you want to get into a good habit of exercising and working out. You might be a student in school and want to focus on the books. You know, you might be a sports athlete. You know, you want to focus on sports. You know, it could be many things. And when you're away from that, you're really holding in life and strength inside of you. So that's a blessing. You know, even so, we see female attraction on this thing, and this is like the number one thing for a lot of people, is female attraction. And why is this the main topic and point that many of these men speak about? It's because this is a literal mating call for a wife. We don't live for a wife. We don't live for a woman, but us as believers in Christ, followers of the Messiah, you know, believers in the Most High God, you know, Yahweh, the ones that follow the Most High God, the one that follows His word, you know, and we follow Him. We chase after Him, you know, and He bestows every good thing to us that He wills. And if that's a wife, when you're on this practice, you're going to have a lot coming at you. But it's like, who is a wife? Who's not just a wife in duty, but who's a wife in character and morals and principles and values? And I believe when you're on this practice, you can see it more clearly. But if you're doing this practice just to attract women to get them, and then do it all over again just to get, and you know, as scripture says, we don't judge those in the world. So I'm not sitting here trying to judge anybody in the world. I'm just telling you the perspective that you have on semen retention can be a bit off if you're not including God in it. It can be completely off if you are not including the Most High God. So if you're just including your own ideology, if you're just including your own thoughts, your own feelings, and even the things that you could clearly see, even those things can deceive you. And what you may be looking at as a blessing, it could be a curse from the devil that may be disguised as a blessing. You know, so I will hope that you could take that in first and foremost. So when you're walking a life pure life as a man, you know, it's something that could be frowned upon depending on what community you're coming from and just the culture that's around you. But we live in a over-sexualized culture, you know. We don't have a lot of people that has less than 5 sexual partners anymore. You know, we don't have wholesome marriages in this country. We have declining marriage in this country. We have a decline in nurturement and raising children, you know, and that's because men will choose a certain type of woman to put their seed in. And when you do that, you're not raising children in nurture, but you're raising children, you know, is this, and I don't want to sound like this, but if I'm going to be quite frank, there's lots of women out here operating like men. And if you as a man is putting your seed inside of a woman operating like a man, we're going to get more masculine women. And with that, it creates a level of, I'll say, division within the sexes. And when I say division, men are men and women are women. And when you start to blur the lines of what a man is and what a woman is, it completely tarnishes the roles of us humans in general. You know, when you're a retained man, you know, and stepping back from that, you could be intentional with getting to know somebody, vetting somebody, getting clarity on somebody, like really getting to know somebody before you even get to that place. And I feel like that's a problem with this culture. We don't teach anybody to get to know somebody before you have sex with them. We don't teach that. And that's an issue. And I believe that this practice, you know, where men are made to be leaders. So if you got a man leading in this avenue and a woman that is willing to follow that, oh man, trust and believe that those children will be blessed. If you got a true man that's walking in purity in this and willing to lead his family, because ultimately it's about raising families. If you see the world that we're about to go into, this new world order and a lot of civil rights groups trying to come up in an unrighteous way and push things and impress things upon our children, and you can see it points to the lack of men around, because if we had more men around, more true men standing up and being men, then we wouldn't have these issues that we have. But because we have effeminate men that bows down to the woman and what the woman feels and what the woman thinks, we have a lot of things that's being pushed out in culture, even in legislation. There's many things that are being pushed out from effeminate men, you know, from different effeminate cultures, you know, that does weird stuff, you know. So perversions and just so many wicked things and wicked acts that are being done, you know, and just the focus is putting these things onto our children. Children right now are in these schools. They're learning about wickedness that they shouldn't be learning about. Children should be learning about reading, writing, and probably some basic history and basic arithmetic. These are the things that we take on in our adult lives. Like most of the stuff we learn in school, we don't even remember. So, but there's certain things that stick with us. And when you're teaching sexual stuff to children and things like that, you're teaching children, like little children, that masturbation's okay, you know, like 5-year-olds, teaching this stuff too. You know, they want these young boys to grow up to release their seed, because the more you got men releasing their seed, boys releasing their seed, and that's the life that empowers them, that's inside of them, and God will bless you. When you got boys and men doing that, you know, that's, and I'm not like, if you have a woman, meaning if you have a wife or you have a woman, you know, I believe in no sex until marriage, but people cohabitate, people be with people. If you got like a woman or you know, this really ain't pertaining to you. This is pertaining to those that consider themselves a single, you know. So I will hope, and it's my great hope, that somebody really hears what I'm saying. And like I said, this is just a quick topic. I want to speak a couple more topics on this, but I believe that, yes, your perspective is off. Your perspective is wrong. Your perspective is tarnished if it don't involve God. So it's my hope that you heard what I just said. And how much time we got? Oh, we had 9 minutes. Like I said, a lot of these videos I'm not gonna make too long. The sun is setting. I just wanted to just kind of sit out here and just speak about this, because I was moved to, you know. And when you're a content creator, I guess however you move, you just do it and just do it. So, but once again, your perspective can be off about this topic. Your perspective can be off about this, even if you're seeing the results and seeing things, you know. If you're not including the Most High God, then it's rubbish. If you're doing this to just attract women, just to have a woman, and not to build a legacy, because most of us men should be leading families and building legacy. And if you're not leading a family, then you should just be doing what you need to do to prepare yourself. Because one day we desire that. We don't want to grow old and have nothing to pass down to. We don't want to grow old and be lonely with nobody by our side. Like, most of us men don't want that. And, you know, it ain't about getting in a rush to get with the woman, but taking your time with the woman, taking your time to get to know somebody, taking your time to grow even, you know, take your time to allow them to grow, taking your time. It's about taking your time in this practice. And some people will want to see instant results. Some people want to see people count streaks, and this is like they follow other people's videos like, well, this happens in 30 days and this happens in 60 days and this happened in 90 days. And some of that stuff that happened in 90 days for some people ain't happened to me until like 5 months, you know. So people are different, you know. Some people get BBs. I ain't get BBs. You know, well, I have as a recent, but not gonna get into it. But regardless, what I'm saying is, when you're doing semen retention, it should be intentional. You know, you're wanting to live a pure life, but also you should be using this as a means of allowing that life inside of you to push you to focus on what you need to focus on, to rid yourself of all of the dirty, filthy women that are out there in the world, and attract yourself a good woman, because there are good women out here. And I know there's a red pill community that talks about female nature, that talks about all these women, this and that and that and this. No, it's some good, wholesome women out here. They exist. They out here. They just might not be out here like in the streets, out here in the clubs, or out here in just, you know, just out and about, you know, just being seen and just trying to grab attention and being promiscuous and being, it's so many aspects, you know, that we could look at in the modern woman in general, you know. But this is more so a practice for somebody that desires a good woman. And not to say certain women that does certain things aren't good women or good-natured women, because I believe that, you know. But when you're walking in purity, women can smell that on you. That's where the female attraction comes from. And the female attraction don't necessarily have to be like sexual. It could just literally be like this desire to want to be around this person, because it's something that he gives off. Like, when you're on this practice, you give off something, and women see it, men see it, people see it, children see it. Like, children will feel the purity coming off of you. Like, children, especially children, like you know. And you're really walking a pure life. And that doesn't mean like we don't come with temptations and pure thoughts and just, you know. So I'm not saying I'm living this perfect life. I'm not, you know. But ultimately what I'm saying is, this type of thing attracts a wife. If you want a wife, like stop getting in these relationships and cohabitating relationships. Now, if you don't want no wife, this don't even apply to you. But your perspective is off on this practice. If you really want to do this, you know, think about family in this. Think about honoring God first and foremost with your temple. Think about your future children, and think about who you're going to have those children with. That's the biggest thing. And I feel like our issue in this society is we got men that's so drawn into lust from these films and the X-Vids and the P-Hubs and the other stuff. And I was addicted to that. And I know, like, and we attract those women. And then we have children with those women. Then we wonder why we on child support. We wonder why we can't see our children. We wonder why there's other men around the children. And we wonder why molestation is at a peak right now in these single mother homes. We wonder why all this stuff is happening. And it's because we as men are not being intentional with who we're putting our seed into. Because if we did, we will be with them for the rest of our lives, and we will have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 children. We should be big old families. God said be fruitful and multiply, and I feel like us as a society has multiplied, but we haven't been fruitful in our multiplication. We have done a disservice to this society as men. And we have done a disservice to the society as human beings and to the planet if we're creating people just out of lust. And that's why I tell you, if you're in the semen retention practice, truly, like, it's gonna change your life. Yes, it will. But what's your perspective on how you want to change your life? Yeah, focus on this and focus on that and do this and do that, and that's nice. But when you get into the realm of female attraction, you want to attract a wife. Forget these other women. One woman. Attract a wife. And if she ain't your wife, keep it moving, keep it going. And keep on grinding, keep on pushing, get your money, do what you need to do. Because the last thing you want to do is to have a oopsie child. The last thing you like, if you're having a child, you will want to have that child. You'll want to plan it. Like, you'll want to intentionally put your seed in the woman that you have made your wife. That is the best case scenario for your children. And our issue is we don't think about the children before we start putting our seed in women. We don't think about our legacy, you know, but we got women taken from us. Rather it's time, rather it's energy, rather it's resources, rather it's finances, rather it's, you know, just, you know. So like I said, just change your perspective on this and watch how your life change. Watch how your mindset change. Because yeah, you're on the semen retention thing now, but if you're focusing on that and entertaining the idea of female attraction, you are going to relapse. Stop counting the days. Stop 60, 90, stop counting, just do it. And if you mess up, get back up and do it again. Like I said in that last video, but regardless, whatever. I just hope this message blessed you. It's time to make dinner for my babies, and after that, you know, continue my night. But have a blessed one. Woo-woo.